Hey, welcome. Oh, we're so close.
We are close. I'm not sure what's going on here. Stop that.
Hey, with 23andMe facing bankruptcy and numerous attorney generals urging you to delete your data if you're a client, it got us thinking.
It did.
Janice, so why do some people want to know everything about their past?
Well, what do you do if you find out you have relatives even you previously did not know about? It has happened many times. UAB psychologist Dr. Josh Klapow, Tony Kurre here to talk about this very
We're long lost brothers.
Morning.
We are.
Long lost brothers, I see.
You look just a lot.
Brothers from a
I
different mother,
see.
yeah. Absolutely.
But you know, it can be a wonderful thing in some situations, and it can be very scary if you don't end up liking the people who are trying to find you out. People can find out they've been adopted and didn't know it, right? So many things can happen.
Well, it's really cool. It's neat if you're out there and you're trying to find your lost sister or lost brother, whatever. But you have to remember there's someone on the other end of that phone call.
Yeah.
And they may not have any knowledge of having a brother or sister, and all of a sudden you come whirling into their life. They've got 4 kids of their own, they got kids in college, they got all these things, and all of a sudden you've got a long lost brother that lives halfway across town and wants to get back together with you. And you don't even know who the guy is. It can be scary. You know, there's two roads here.
But it can also be great.
It could be.
Yeah.
It can. I mean, we always think about blood, right? We're connected. This is why 23andMe and others are so popular. But I think it's that theme that takes us way past reality. I mean, because if you think about it this way, we have relatives, all of us, who I would believe that we don't get along with very well. They're blood relatives, and maybe brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and even though they're family, we don't see them at all. Imagine though you're on this quest because you think it's the right thing to do, and you meet somebody who you don't like at all, and that's very possible. And the reason, and that's not me saying don't do it, but it's me saying, think about it before you take that step. Do you want to be in that position where you find the person and you don't know them, and it's also not necessarily your mission to find them? I think that's, to me, the most interesting thing. You know, we must. Why?
I know someone was given up. Their mother and father were only 16 years old, and their parents made them give them up. And they did one of the ancestry things a few years ago. And they come to find out, those kids stayed together as adults, got married, had kids.
Oh, wow.
And they, since then, their children had been reaching out to try to find this person.
Yeah.
And then they found them. And it was kind of a shock. You don't know whether to let that person in your life or not. This situation's turned out great. But yeah, you don't know whether to let them in your life or not.
There was a geneticist who did a op-ed about this whole thing and talking about sort of the idea that we may not really be ready to understand what it means to know our DNA. I mean, this is why we have genetic counseling, before you go get that kind of test, because the implications for our lives are so huge, whether it's, at risk for a chronic illness or finding a relative or not finding a relative. I've got clients who have made the search their whole life, never found, and at what point do you give up and stop? I mean, those are the kind of psychological issues.
Now, you were saying that there's family members you don't like. Maybe this could work to your advantage. You find out, hey, I'm not related to that person. Just kidding. So I don't have to be so nice to them.
Takes it over here.
Well, unfortunately, we've seen some of those stories too. And
Yeah,
we've certainly seen the stories where the man and the woman start dating, and next thing you know, they find out they're brother and sister.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
you really went down a road.
No, I mean, it happens. I mean, what do you do when you fall in love with somebody and you realize there's been numerous stories out there?
Maybe we should end it on that note.
I think we should. But the 23andMe thing, if you do have that, they do say delete the data. So
Yeah.
all right, now here's Jay.